In the movies, you see him shaking him, and he wakes up a little bit. He's like, I just want to tell you. It's like, what? No. Oh shit.
Good luck and have fun. You're gonna need it.
Oh, they throw that in movies sometimes. There is another another guy, Luke. Yeah, it doesn't tell you. It's like, you need to know this. It's like, oh, it's fucked up. All this, the whole life, the rest of your life, you're just wondering what the hell it was. Anyone ever write you, fuck you, no GG? No, I did that. I did that to Parting. I said, fuck you, no GG after he beat me in Korea. But I did it in fun, though. I did give him a GG afterwards, but I wanted to give him the good luck, the no GG. I said, fuck you, no GG. Mother effer, he was in a different name. I never knew.
Justice be done. We embrace the glory of battle.
Rush me?
Hey, they're attacking our base.
Command me by your will. Ula Sadan. Antara Tazak. Orin Shisa.
Oh no, that queen almost died.
Prismatic core online. My meditation is over. Paradakural. Kasar de Templari. Channel the light. Justice. We are the blades of fire. Fate's crystals charged. His vessel shattered.
And they're out of here.
Channel the light of Io.
Got him. Going into that Oracle play afterwards.
Zaknaku Afal.
That looked too easy. When you have my kind of experience versus Zerg, sometimes it does look too easy.
Fate's crystals charged.
But that's a lot of experience. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of losses that I've encountered. And there's a lot of times where I go, what do I do here? What do I do here? What do I do here? What do I do there? And when you get a good level of thought and experience, a lot of things start adding up. You start seeing the matrix for what it is, at least in certain parts of the game. So I'll explain to you what's going on. The devil's in the detail. So we start off with the pylon. I was gonna make a pylon here, and then I was like, wait, I'm talking so much I forgot what race it is. I go and click my race. Oh, it's Zerg. Okay, Zerg, pylon at the bottom. So that little delay was just me trying to figure out, oh wait, what race was he? So Zerg, pylon at the bottom. Probe goes over here. We make a gas. We send 2 workers to clone them, and then we send them out. We leave the gas for later. The reason why I leave the gas instead of canceling it for resources is because it's better to have it up so you can start mining off of at least 1 gas early, because your Stargate is important to come up because of the Roach Ravagers. So you have it up just in case, ready to go. And then when you pull workers into it, you get the other gas. So instead of making gas late and then waiting for the both gases, you get in the gas and then you make another gas. So that's kind of like what I'm doing here, just being on top of my next transition. So I send 2 probes out, and then with the other probe, I send it out to make a forge and a gateway. And then with the forge and the gateway, this probe goes over to this area because of a possible proxy hatch afterwards when I do what I have to do. So that's what this is. And I should send the probe out this way on this map, because look at the Overlord. The Overlord is actually seeing me travel there, so that's not a good thing. So we're gonna have to remember to patrol. That's something with the new maps. The new maps, I have to adjust my pathing and the Overlord locations to the timing. So probe has to go the other way so we can sneak over here. I partially did the sneak patrol, but I did it off of a normal direction. So what I have to do now is patrol it here, and then here, because that's the time that my probe gets to this side of the map. So as we go over to the Zerg player, Um, I saw no hatchery. There was no hatchery right here. So whenever you don't see a hatchery there, that's an early pool. And with an early pool, there's different types of early pools. There's a 12 pool, a 14 pool, a 16 pool. It really depends how greedy or how aggressive the player is. So what I end up doing whenever I see no hatchery, I'll pull the probe out and then I'll hide in the back because I know he's gonna ling rush me. And if he ling rushes me, this is the probe that he's going to be chasing, or he's going to feel like this is the probe that's scouted. So this probe comes and waits for the hatchery to come up, because normally when a ling rush comes up, they get a hatchery again and behind it. And so that's what this play is doing. So if you see a hatchery, you go on and do the cannon rush. When there's a hatchery built, there isn't another overlord over here. This overlord is not here. It's usually over here. But because it's a pull first, there's more overlords early on than there is with the hatch first. So I pull this one. There goes the lings. So I follow the lings because I want them to be aggro against the probe, but I also want them to know that the probe is right there with them. Oh, well, you can't cannon rush me or anything or any shenanigans because the probe is right here with my lings. So we go and we take a trip. And the trip right here is psychological. It's like, oh, his probe's right there. And so we go over here. We make a pylon because the lings are actually really early. So they're coming in really quick. So I have to make a pylon first, then get a cannon. And then right here, I just wait. I just wait for a hatchery to pop up. And when I see the hatchery, I'm like, okay. Make a pylon. Make a zealot right here. And I'm just putting a little probe harass here to try to delay the aggression. So right here, I have a little spot right here. I have a little spot right here where I can do a pylon with half the pylon and then half the space that I have right here. So with that being said, the moment the lings kill the pylon, I'll still be able to make a pylon right in front of their face because it's a pixel away from them. So it's not exactly the full square. So the pylon has a square right here, and it's split in half. And so we're using the top space and half the pylon space. So you're gonna see he's gonna kind of like go, hey, what the hell? Look, he's really trying to get in there, right? And once it dies, you see how it's still alive? And I made the pylon in front, 1 pixel away. Well, that pylon, the lings can't get past that until that actually explodes technically. But it already exploded to the point where I get to put a pylon. And that little trick right there keeps the lings from getting in. And then what the zealot's supposed to do is supposed to go over to the other side to just create more distraction while the cannons are going up. You want the lings to be in front, not scouting. So a zealot coming over there, they're gonna like, oh, the zealot's coming. Gotta make sure we kill it efficiently. And then here with the hatchery, because the lings are already coming back home, I don't want him to scout. Even he might scout as a habit. So what I usually do is I make a cannon behind. This cannon is not supposed to hit anything, but it's supposed to defend these cannons that are coming up right here. And so there goes my zealot, and there goes the lings kind of keeping an eye on the zealot. Oh, he's coming. He is coming. Okay. And we wait until 7 squares. At 7 squares, you can make the cannon where the cannon doesn't shoot the hatchery where it's not done yet. Or else he'll cancel the hatchery. He'll be like, oh shit, you're cannon rushing? Cancel the hatchery. And then he'll make it somewhere else and save 300 resources. Or a little bit less than 300. But because I wait for the 7 squares, that means that when the cannon comes up, it's going to be right behind the hatchery being built. And there goes the zealot. There goes the cannons almost up. And he can't cancel the hatchery. Now, one thing I could do, and sometimes do if I feel like he's going to deny me, is usually I'll make like cannons behind this time. I'll get like 2 more cannons. But then I'll cancel them if I feel that he's not going to be aggressive. If he's not going to be aggressive, I'll cancel him. If he is aggressive, I keep him up, and they're going to help me continue the fight. That's what I should have done in this case. But, yeah, it's been a little while. I'm a little rusty on some things. But, yeah, that's what you do here. Whenever you're not sure, you make a few cannons, then you cancel them when you feel like, yeah, he's not going to come at me at this time. It should already be happening. The hatchery's almost dead. Cancel. Use the rest of the resources to continue your transition. As you can see right here, I'm mining gas early on because of the transition, and then I built the gas here so I could just put three gases, 3 probes in the gas, and then get a 2 gas saturation so that I can get a Stargate right away. But this right here is helping me get the Stargate faster, which time is very important in StarCraft. I still have this probe right here scouting for a proxy hatch, and I have this Zealot right here waiting for this hatchery to come up. So what I want is the drone to come over here, and then he'll go, oh no, there's a Zealot, let me go over here and build it here, and then he'll build it here, and then I cannon rush him here. See how this one backs up the other cannons? Right here, I saw the queen. I was 1 second from actually hitting it. One last shot would have went straight for that queen right there. But that spine crawler got it just in time because I was like, "Ooh, you're in my range." It actually changed position to this, but yeah, got me right in time. Now this is what I call a payoff, and it's setup and a payoff. A setup and a payoff is kind of like a movie, you know, a horror movie usually has setups and payoffs. In the beginning, you got the killer. He gets out of the car. The camera angles on the floor, and you see the shoes. You see him step out of the car, and you're like, oh, those are some interesting kind of shoes. You know it's a bad guy, and then he does what he asked. You don't see him, but he's in the shadows. He kills someone, and then throughout the movie, you're like, who is it? You know, who's the killer? And then all of a sudden, some person sneaks into the house or something and finds these shoes. They don't know much about the shoes, but you do as a viewer, and you're like, it's the guy! That's the killer! I remember those shoes from the beginning. It's the only clue I got. You know, that's a setup and a payoff. The setup is giving you that little clue. The payoff is when you finally find out who it is, but not by them telling you, but by the item. And sometimes that item is distracting because it's not always the killer, but it gives you that payoff where you think it is. And then you're like, oh shit, they did me wrong. I thought it was the killer, but that's not the killer. It's the mom that's the killer and not the guy, or something like that. You know what I mean? So when it comes to StarCraft, in this kind of sense, this is a setup where you assume, oh, you know what? The cannons didn't kill the hatchery. Damn. You know, and he's like, oh yeah, I almost lost the hatchery, but we saved it. You know, so you set it up, and then the payoff is the void raids. The void raids come in. They don't have to spend too much time over here. They just have to come in and snipe the rest of this, and then that's the payoff. So now what I wanted to do, because there's no hatchery here yet, and then this Zealot kind of got a little aggroed from a drone. This drone, so he's like, he was gonna make a hatchery here. He decides to make it over here. The Zealot's like, no, can't go. He's like, oh shit. And here he had an overlord. this Overlord was put in a really nice spot. Because what I was gonna do is get the battery shield here, 2 battery shields with the cannon, and then that way I can come in, take out the hatchery, and if I'm losing health, shield from the void raids, I pull back and get some health just to come back and go kill the queens. That was gonna be the 2-hit combo in this situation, but the Overlord came in time and spotted it, and so then the Lings came and did their thing, but it was still too late because my void raids were still gonna be able to take out the hatchery. Um, and then we weaken him so bad that he can't make a hatchery anymore. He can't protect this with no queens, and he can't take this base yet. So we stay on 2 bases, and then I switch over to oracles because he's gonna go Hydralisk to counter the void raids, queens and hydras. So then we counter the hydras and the queens with the oracles. Now the void raids, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to harass throughout this period of time, so that we can see if they're making spire. The void raids kind of chip off the areas and see if it's a hydralisk den or if it's a spire. If it's a spire, you stop making oracles and you start going into phoenix transition, and then you're able to counter the mutas afterwards, and you just use the oracles for early harass and just use them for the little things. But then the phoenixes will be the ones that counter the mutas. They'll be thinking, oh, I'll make mutas, he's making oracles, so they don't expect the phoenix transition. So those are like the little things that happen in this game that really help make this look easy, but in reality it's a lot of losses that I've encountered that allowed me to figure out what can I do here, and the more you do that, the better you get. The important part is to hold all that information in your database. Yeah, GG, got us another one. I think most anger is projection, angry at yourself, reflecting that on opponent's race. I think a lot of it, bouncing counter, is just not having the practice or even the mentor of how to think when you're angry and how to release your stress. I think a lot of it is just you don't know and you're not taught. And if you're not taught, you can lead to the dark side really quick. If you're mentored on how to manage your anger, you can make better decisions on how to deal with it, and it's going to pay off in your life. But you can definitely go into the dark side because you just don't know and you weren't taught. Me personally, I learned out of experience at an early age, so I kind of taught myself. But I assure you, I was in the dark side for a little while until I decided to get out of the dark side into the light. But that's because I wasn't mentored either. I just thought, damn, I keep getting into fights. These guys keep fighting me. I don't know what the hell, All I know is I have to fight back. And I have to get angry so that I can have, more energy. But at one point I just said, enough's enough. This is not helping me. It's not getting me anywhere. So I learned how to walk away. And ever since, I turned from the dark side and into the light. And I've been in the positive mentality ever since. Or at least I've been always seeking for that practice in thinking positive and having a positive life, having positive friends that benefit you in a positive way. That's why I always try to stay away from anything that's negative, because you know what, you could walk away from it. You don't have to tolerate it. You know, life is too short to be upset all the time. Life is too short to tolerate things that are toxic in your life. And the best thing is to walk away and walk into something you actually think makes you happy. Um, but experience. I agree. I think the projection is just a very common way when not knowing how to handle it. Yeah, I feel that way. You know, I feel that that's the case. A lot of people you can tell haven't experienced enough darkness to understand where the light is. Um, but sometimes it's good that you have a role model that has already experienced it, so that you can learn off of um, others. So that you don't have to deal with it and be in the wrong path for too long. Um, Very important.